My guess is, and I'm pretty good at guessing, my guess is that you'll be surprised at some things that are happening right before your very eyes, and you never even noticed. The Essence of Reality explores how the psyche, which you are, creates the reality you encounter. Well, you found the essence of reality. We look at life here as in human consciousness, how life actually works. Religion certainly doesn't cover it. It makes things up and pretends they're true, and science doesn't look at the whole picture. You create the reality you encounter. No God does, no external forces and sources do, you do. Stay tuned if you want to come to see it clearly. This clip looks at consciousness with a focus on, well, focus. Often people, maybe you, maybe not, but most people, hustle through their day, paying little attention to details of their surroundings. The walls to your home, along with pictures and items, your furniture, all that sort of disappears after a while. It gives way to focus on preparing for what's coming up, focus on TV or social media, focus on other people, other places, other things, focus on the past or the future, focus on mind-imposed items, not on the real present you encounter. Let's look at some scenes in nature with a glance at what is first apparent, then a focus on something in particular that you likely would miss were you there. Tom Nair here, exploring consciousness. These insights draw from my website, my books, and many talks to open-minded groups. I first recognized the oneness of things in a fleeting mystic experience years ago. But to see that oneness clearly, it took me years to scrape away old, flawed beliefs. My inner journey led to what I call clear awareness, seeing how life works without a veil of beliefs to distort it. You can improve your life, your health, relationships, and success by delving into the deeper mind. There within you find, and you can change, inner roots to outer problems. One key to clearing awareness is coming to see what is real around you. Much is happening there within the scope of your attention that simply escapes your focus. Here's a dry, colorful, rocky canyon in southern Utah. You see many such scenic spots in this region, some really spectacular. You can get so spellbound, though, by the beauty surrounding you that you scarcely notice that, unlike most such desert environments, there's actually water running through the stream down there. That's the stream that gouged this canyon over long periods of time. Another Utah canyon, looking very scenic. Check those eroded cliff faces. Oh, and there's a spot where a big chunk fell out ages ago. Look up on the right there. You wouldn't likely notice at first glance, but if you focus on the lower right corner of that area, there's a grain storage bin Indians built centuries ago. You've probably seen a lot of trees, hardwoods and pines, large and small, depending on, of course, where you are and where you've been. I hope you've encountered a few. There are 3 trillion trees on the planet. You must have seen some of them. But after you've seen so many of anything, you often quit noticing that individual items are each unique. Here are some trees in the pine and fir forests of British Columbia and Washington. Notice the differences in their bark alone as the stream surges by. Here are trees lining the Genesee River Gorge through Letchworth State Park in New York. Here's a pine viewing the Shenandoah Valley, and a leafless hardwood above the Tennessee River at Chattanooga. 3 trillion trees, each one unique, but you don't notice that if you aren't looking. This location on the eastern shore of Vancouver Island offers mostly rocks and seaweed. Dabs of green set against many shades of gray, particularly in the bright midday sun. If you don't really pay attention, you'll completely miss the bright purple sea stars clinging to rocks. You might say, leaning on the bar until the next round of drinks arrives. And that won't happen any sooner than the next high tide. Here we are off the beaten trail in the south of Capitol Reef National Park in Utah. We're actually on a trail, rather well beaten, come to think of it, scanning the surrounding high mesa cliffs. This vast, colorful area can so totally grip your attention that you just don't see the gnarled but somehow artistic-looking old plant that has found its early retirement location right here in front of you. Here we find some wide open spaces, a stretch in northern Nevada, pretty far from anywhere you might call somewhere. But one can scan the horizon there, fixated on the distant mountains and vast stretches of sage and prairie land, and totally miss the pronghorn that, look, just bounding out of the way. Let's take a look at that again. There he goes. Here's a nice herb garden, a bit overgrown as the oriental basil, peppermint, and oregano have all gone to flower. But the bugs love it. Many varieties of insect are swarming around here, enjoying the nectar. Here's a honeybee, for example. Some of the oregano flowers. More bugs. Lots of them. Here are the oriental basil flowers, and here's the star of this production, a big bumblebee who hovers around, never seems to land, but it costs the other paying customers. I call him the mall cop. Here he is, buzzing other insects, and a slow motion of him buzzing a white butterfly. Watch him. Then pestering other shoppers. Our mall cop never seems to rest or eat, but keeps on heckling those that do. Now watch this. Here's another bee, or a bee mimic. Some insects copy what bees look like just to protect themselves. Watch him coming to land on the oregano flowers. There he is, but oh, look who's coming. There's the mall cop. Hey, get moving there. So this guy takes off and he comes back and lands on the other side, but the mall cop apparently sends a deputy to take care of him the next time. Here he comes. There he goes. Bloop. That guy can't win for losing. As the cop patrols his beat, here's the point. A lot's going on. Territory domination, intimidation, social interaction. And most of it is totally out of the focus of any person around. Perhaps we can get the mall cop, though, to do a bow for us. Yoo-hoo. Yo. Ah, here he comes. Let's slow it down. There we go. This series of clips that I started months ago while traveling out through the West, it's shown how things can be happening before your very eyes and you don't see them, don't even notice them. Yet they become obvious once they're pointed out to you. Well, there's another part of reality that's been taking place all through your life, right under your nose. And most likely you've never ever noticed it. You yourself have been personally manifesting every aspect of your life. Like most people, you grow up learning to blame other sources and forces for all your problems. Some god or gods making things happen to you, conditions, the economy, bacteria, bad luck, misfortune, or the government, or even your mother-in-law. In actuality, whatever the pains and failures and disappointments, you've attracted them all. I emphasize it repeatedly in my videos here. The real events and relationships you encounter in life reflect your own nature. The good stuff like accomplishment, success, health, love, these reflect your will, along with your positive self-image and personal confidence in engaging life. The bad elements, though, failure, illness, injury, rejection, These reflect your fear and sense of powerlessness. These negatives manifest your self-doubt and that very common conviction that other forces in life determine your life quality. So yeah, you might miss a pronghorn in a field or a bully bumblebee in your garden. You might overlook an archaeological feature up on a cliff or a sea star at the beach. Big deal. You'd be no worse off. But if you fail to recognize that you yourself manifest your own life quality day in and day out, you'll spend many a day of your life's quota fending off illusory enemies and seeking help from gods that don't exist and power sources out there that are only illusions. As I said at the outset, you create your life. It behooves you to come to see that clearly, not just accept it because I'm telling you, but see it clearly. I can point the way, but you have to make the journey. Most people hustle through their day, paying little attention to details of their surroundings. But after you've seen so many of anything, you often quit noticing that individual items are each unique. Things can be happening before your very eyes and you don't see them, yet they become obvious once they're pointed out to you. You yourself have been personally manifesting every aspect of your life. Like most people, you grow up learning to blame other sources and forces for all your problems. Whatever the pains and failures and disappointments, you've attracted them all. Accomplishment, success, health, love. These reflect your will. Failure, illness, injury, rejection. These reflect your fear and sense of powerlessness. If you fail to recognize that you yourself manifest your own life quality, you'll spend many a day fending off power sources out there that are only illusions.